Привет из Дубая. С вами передача «Голубь мира», где разбираем крутые навыки. Спрашиваем на английском, отвечаем на русском. Подтягивайте язык или смотрите перевод в тайм-кодах. Let's talk about Scrum and let's start with the definition.
Scrum, Agile, Waterfall, this is several ways how to do the projects, and different people prefer some part of it to be implemented. Scrum, this is a way how you do your sprints. Sprints, short terms, for example, week or 2 weeks, rarely it could be even months, when you do short period of your job or your work, and then you do some meetings. And Scrum-master, this is a person who would lead this so-called meetings, kick-off meeting and regular meeting, and he will provide information and methodology and voting, and he'll help to team to work together and to go to the results.
And you mentioned that there are different actors and there are different process artifacts when it comes to the Scrum. So can we have like a bird view and like see what exactly in this box called Scrum?
You know, there is no pure Scrum in reality. So every Scrum Master, as I was also, uses a mixture instruments which he or she likes. For example, I usually in Scrum was using so-called Kanban blackboard divided for 4 rows or 4 columns. In first column, we will put task to be discussed. On second, task already approved to be done. On third, what is working right now, maybe coding, maybe implementing, and last column, what we are testing and preparing to give to our customer. Also, there is a so-called user story. When you talk with someone who using your product, who is involved in your process, you attempt to understand what is happening, how it's going on. And people usually describe it in very short terms and in plain text. And after you should find a way how to make it structural and how to make it more digitized. Also, there is a so-called backlog. If you have a lot of different wishes to implement, if you have a lot of thoughts to think about, you usually write in special log. It's called backlog. And sometime if you have nothing to do, okay, it's almost never happened, but you could review this and decide, okay, maybe these several items I could unite and implement in my project, in my process, even right now.
And actually, when we were looking at the certain skills on the project, you were saying that the person who actually runs the project or maybe like a program, their main time of work is the night time, meaning that by the time that the team they need to go into this to be discussed column, there should be something. So what should be the person who actually owns the product, or maybe it's like a group of people do in advance in order to make sure those are very well shaped user stories ready to be discussed? Like, what should be the process of the discovery?
You know, this is also several ways how to do this, but a lot of depends from the personality, from this Scrum Master. It should be like a leader servant. From very first point of view, this person should describe to whole team how to work with Scrum methodology. Then he or she will write some rules and will discuss with the team. Then he or she will push a little some person who will go maybe not the same rhythm as other, and also he or she will show how to make an interview with people who are using your product or your process. And yes, there is about language. This is about language. If you use sharp language, if you work with everything you hear with a very strict rules, you could be successful, but not for surely. To be successful as a Scrum Master, several times you should be in the process when you are not a leader, and you should think not how to do your work or your job, but how this person thinks, who is Scrum leader right now. And then when you Scrum leader by yourself, you should think, is it understandable to other people what I am doing? They also should not just follow my orders. They also should order my thoughts, and they should think as I am. And if they making mistakes, it's not about them, it's about me. So my thoughts are not transparent, and maybe they need some more deep explanation.
And actually, when it comes to the team involvement in terms of the Scrum, like what should be the process of the decision making? Because usually, as I know, at the beginning there should be entire team discussing what exactly they should be putting into their work. So how the team must be involved in the process of the discovery and then deciding of what exactly they want to do, how they should make decisions.
In School of Troubleshooters, we have three ways how to make decision in Scrum, and I always ask the team on the lesson, on the lecture, what type of decision do they make. Personally, I like the way when you have several people who is involved in decision making, and some of them they should have roles. One, for example, person responsible for client. One is representative of financial service or maybe for investors, and so on. And some people who do the job, and some people who will make all documentation and testing. Then I know how to say, so sticky bubbles, I don't know, липкие кружочки, sticky shapes.
Sticky points.
Sticky points. Yes, for example, there is 5 people and I give to everyone like 5 blue sticky points. And then I will develop several ways how to process, for example, 3 alternatives, and I will say to everyone, you could put to any alternative as many points as you want. You could put all 5 to one. You could put for example 4 for one and 1 for another. You could, for example, put 1 1 1 and 2 you could hold for yourself, and so on. And everyone is taking his or her time, I don't know, like 20 seconds, putting this sticky points, and after 5 minutes everyone will understand which decision should be made.
And actually, when it comes to the global roadmap, like when we're probably thinking about like a 1 year or maybe quarters or maybe a couple of years, so Scrum, it seems to be, it's more like on the short-term scope, whether it's like a 1 week or 2 weeks or even like a 3 or 4 weeks. And given that there are people who will be making decisions like what kind of problem to solve, like at the given period of cycle, how exactly the person who runs all of the Scrum, or maybe 1 or 2, or like maybe few in a parallel, should think how they would map their user stories to the global vision, because there also might be a possibility that the team might be against something or they will offer something interesting. So how to balance the strategy and the circles within the Scrum?
There is no balance in real life. Yes, everyone is saying, okay, you have several like стеклянные шары, glass balls. You have like a glass balls, and you're trying to throw it in the air and hold for a while, but anyway, some of them would be broken forever because you lost them. So you should think that some of your people in the team, Scrum team, they will against your decision, and maybe different person will be against different decisions. And it's very easy. You just give them so many points, sticky points, so in amount of their power in this. For example, if I am responsible for financing, you will give me 5 sticky points. But if, for example, I am technician, in this particular question, you will give me just 1 sticky points. And this is very easy. When you have a lot of sticky points on your wall, nothing to discuss. So if you will try to talk to everyone, you will try to build like a Frankenstein. This is a completely impossible thing. Yes, it will suit to the team, but would it suit to the customer? No one knows. But if you think in the mind that customer would be happy after you deliver this result, you should always think just about him or her.
And when we go down to the process level, what actually the actors that we need to involve in the process, and what might be the life cycle of the one Scrum sprint?
A sprint, usually I do like 5 days, rarely 6 days, because you need a very short period of time to review what was happening and what is the difficulties. This first. Second, each day we have special rules, and usually we do for very first week we do like a prototype. We spend 5 days to think from the scratch to the ready prototype, maybe in paper, maybe in drawing in electronic form, and so on. And the time during the day divided for several periods. There is a breakfast, usually all together. There is lunch all together. There is dinner, sometimes not together, but for example, Wednesday and Friday all together. And also there is so-called biopause. I don't know, is it correct to say biopause? Biopause. Then every 1.5 hours, and also there should be snacks like peanuts, like maybe some sandwiches, maybe some coffee, some juices, and so on. You should make especially to put all people in the same place. No one go out. Everything is fresh. If there is enough air, pleasant situation, and you have enough pens, pencils, and you could draw something on the wall. But there is a room which should be big enough not to intersect people roads. So everyone sometimes will sit in different corners. And also very important, maybe you'll understand me better than others, you also should use Bluetooth wireless headphones with noise masking, because if some people will try to talk, maybe they will bother you. But if everyone could make their personal silence, it would be better to work.
Yes, I do agree. Sometimes the noise pollution might be something that should be considered when you're doing it, or maybe when you're trying to protect yourself. And if we go back to the Scrum and like what exactly we want to see at the end of it, what should be the artifacts or the products or the outputs or outcomes of the Scrum sprint?
First outcome of the sprint is a lot of bulk of this small piece of paper, sticky ones, like 3M. I don't know how to say. Вот такие липкие листочки. Как они называются?
Sticky notes.
Sticky notes. You will have a lot of them. Everyone would try to write on one sticky note, one thought, and when you write it, very often you think it's brilliant, but after one day or after night, you will read like 10 of them, and you will think, what I was doing at this time. This is not appropriate. I don't like this, and I don't want to be seen while doing this. But anyway, sticky notes, this is the very first. Second, you will, especially when you first or second time in a team, you will write down your Scrum rules. You will write thoughts of people you never known before, because sometimes their thoughts would be quite unusual, and you will be thinking that, okay, I have not just result of the Scrum, but also I feel that team implement in me some principles which I like, and maybe I will use whole life. And then also you will have a product which would be maybe modified. Each 1 or 2 days you will add in some features, you will extract some features, maybe you will divide the product for several, maybe you will unite several products in one tube, in one process, and so on. So you will feel that you are like standing close to aquarium with fishes which are живородящие.
Live burning.
Like burning, yes, fishes, and you will see these nests, and you will see this caviar, how it will convert to small fishes, and you will feel yourself lucky, very lucky.
And when it actually comes to the human, like in terms of the interactions, obviously what we discussed probably could be more efficient when you have like a face-to-face interaction, but sometimes there also might be a situation when let's say one of the important members, they cannot actually participate. So whether it will make the Scrum efficient and how to mitigate the situation.
When person which is responsible, for example, for money or for other kind of resources would be absent, it's very dangerous. You should always previously ask this person, are you going to attend our meeting? If you are not, please give some deputy voices, and we will think that this deputy will vote instead of you. If you'll try to make any decisions without resource having person, you will meet some difficulties, because one meeting was lost, second meeting was lost, and after several weeks you will meet a very strong defense, because a person will say, come on, but you have I haven't been for 5 weeks, and you have decided so much which uses my resources, but I don't need these results. What you're doing is not useful for me, so I want my resources back. And if it is money, it's okay, but if it is time, it's almost impossible to give it back.
And if we look at it from the different angles, so it's in this case, it was the absence of the person. From another point, it's also might be like absence of the effort. So a person like imitate the very active moves, and you can hear like when you check with them or with a group that it's in progress. But when it comes to the last day, it's actually not done. How to make sure that the people actually engage? Like, do you need to do have like a certain rules, or maybe just like a quietly not involve them into the next round, or maybe there are other mechanics to make sure that you deliver the product by consolidating efforts of the team?
You know, when you are working, for example, with Germans, with Austrians, with Swiss people, it would be no problem. But if you're working, for example, for Pakistani or Indian people, sometimes they will take their words back. So you should use voice recording and even video recording, and you should all the time remind people that we are working under video surveillance, and the reason is not to track what you're doing, but to track what you are saying. And in this case, you should be very accurate, because, okay, you know English well, and you demonstrate it all the time, but I was working with Indian people and Pakistani people, and sometimes they trying to трактовать,
Interpret.
to interpret their words in another way. So they trying to translate English to English, and sometimes you will feel yourself completely foolish, because they not just tricked you, but also they обманывают.
Deceive.
But they also deceive, and you know it's very pity, because you was relying on them, on their words, on their actions, but suddenly they will say, oh, come on, you miss me up, and I was never saying this. Yes, I say it pronounced, but it was just words. On my heart it was another.
And last question will be how knowing about the Scrum would help to make this world a better place.
You know, when we learn Scrum in School of Troubleshooters, I usually say to people that we have no possibility in the school to learn the large Scrum. So we learn Scrum very short way, Scrum for 1 week. And this helps you to work, for example, with startup, not corporate one, but individual startup. And what is good in this, you just spend 5 days and you get good results, but usually they are not in real world. Usually they are just imitating your future product. Yes, you have a lot of answers, but still you should implement it. But in real world, Scrum couldn't be done in 1 week, and you will spend like 6 months, maybe 11 months. But if you follow the methodology, finally you will find that you know what will be your outcome for each week, and you will be very predictable for your customers, and they will be lucky to work with you.
А мы рассмотрели навык Scrum и чем он полезен именно вам. Всем мира.